Greetings, comrades. President Emerson Mnangagwa says that ZANU PF government is done with socialism. He was talking to some media people at the State House. There's a clip that is circulating where he says they believe in free market economy. He made an example saying, if you grow oranges, he says they cannot regulate prices of your orange. The market must determine the price. That is free market economy, where prices are not controlled. Prices are determined by the market forces. And we have always said that ZANU PF has never been socialist, or it has never pursued socialist policies. But what President Emerson Mnangagwa said contradicts what is written in the ZANU PF constitution. And again, in my early activism, one thing I was taught was that you do not judge the character of a party by what is written in its constitution. Firstly, you need to understand who are the individuals that make up that political formation. And secondly, it is their daily activity. So reading ZANU PF constitution is different from what President Emerson Mnangagwa was saying. Their constitution says, under vision, I quote, is 6, forever to remain the mass revolutionary socialist party in the emancipation process of the people of Zimbabwe from all forms of oppression, close quote. That's what they say. So when you argue with the ZANU PF member and say you are not a socialist party or you are not pursuing socialist policies based on the economic policies that you are pursuing in government, they will throw at you their constitution. As I've already said, you do not judge a party by what is written, but by their daily activities. And Lenin says, before I continue looking into the ZANU PF constitution, and Lenin says in April thesis, these April theses were written in 1917. He says, I quote, a party is the vanguard of a class, and its duty is to lead the masses, and not merely to reflect the average political level of the masses, close quote. So a party, according to Lenin, is a vanguard of a class. And the question, therefore, which social class does ZANU PF represent? It does not represent the working class. It does not represent the working class. It does not represent the peasantry. So which class does ZANU PF represent? Yes, it has support in rural communities since 2000. In the last 20 years or so, it has been winning in rural communities. And the comrade Blade Nzimande was saying that the ZANU PF has become a rural party. And he was basing this argument on the outcome of an election results conducted over the last 20 years. But it does not necessarily mean that ZANU PF represents the interest of the rural people. In previous videos, we've spoken about the evictions that are happening in rural communities. People do not own land in rural communities. Anytime you can be removed. But we'll talk some other time about this. And in its constitution, it says, its mission says, is number 0.7, I quote, to maintain total ownership, control, and equitable distribution of the means of production, natural resources, and the defense of the national sovereignty, policies of indigenization, empowerment, and wealth creation so as to sustain the independence of Zimbabwe and to remain forever masters of our own destiny, close quote. But President Mnangagwa says they've passed the stage of price controls. Prices of commodities must be determined by the market forces. It is what he was saying. It contradicts what their constitution says. It says, I quote, to maintain total ownership, control, and equitable distribution of the means of production. This is not happening in Zimbabwe. So when you then say the market forces must determine the prices of commodities. He used the oranges as an example. That you are a farmer, you grow orange trees. It is the market forces that should determine the price. That's free market economy. ZANU-PF is not pursuing socialist policies or to build a socialist economy. Let's conclude by this. Under aims and objectives, their constitution says, point 11, to establish and sustain a socialist society firmly based on our historical, cultural, and social experience, and to create conditions for economic independence, prosperity, and equitable distribution of the wealth of the nation in a system of economic organization and management in which elements of free enterprise and market economy, planned economy, and public ownership are combined. ZANU-PF is pursuing free enterprise. And since they are not combining free enterprise and a controlled economy, Mnangagwa says the market forces must determine the prices of commodities. He says they've passed the socialist stage. He says they've passed that. But from socialism, you go to communism. He's basically was saying they've thrown out socialist policies. They are going back, according to him, to capitalism. And we have said that ZANU-PF or Zimbabwe is governed by the looting class. A capitalist understands that a worker must produce at the factory floor, must produce, or on farms, there must be production. That's a capitalist. So a capitalist will build the roads for easy access to the workplace, movement of goods. A capitalist will build the schools, tertiary institutions in the main technical schools, whether we want to be a plumber, a mechanic, whatever, bricklayer, because they understand that you must train a worker. A capitalist build clinics, hospitals, because they understand that if a worker is injured at work, there will be no production. So a worker must quickly go back to work after being treated. But the looting class, they simple loot. They do not build schools. They do not build the hospitals, the clinics. There is no infrastructure because theirs is just to loot. Please write in the comment section, like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. I am Nabuto, Nicholas Mapena, General Secretary of the Zimbabwe Communist Party. If you are on TikTok, please do follow us.